This is Baruch the Tikkun Elevator Kolel, and this is a makeup share for the Sifra that's Niyota because I somehow destroyed the video the last time. But this gives me a chance to learn something again a second time. So here we're talking about this one word, which is, well, we'll see it down at the bottom. We'll see a little bit more, but we're concerned about the word yakar, the yakirusa. What did Rebbe Shimon mean when he used the word yakirusa? It means it's covered. It's covered. But wants to know what actually is covered about the beard. What does it do that actually makes it possible? So let's come over here, and we'll go a little bit slower than I went in the other share because I was really learning. That is the one I destroyed. So here we go through different pieces of this is called the Mochin V'Orus Yakarim. So here's the word Yakar again, Yakarim. So he said Mochin and lights and Kavod that are Kavodik. So he says, Balderik Zeh Rei B'Sefer Beis Olomim, look over there. And it's talking over there about the Idra Rabbah, Zel Lashon, Yakiril the Yakirim, Yudura Ki HaMochin Dezer Anpin, Boim Abba Ve'ima, those Mochin come from Abba Ve'ima, Vehim Boim Beis Mazlos, and they come from the two Mazlos, they come from the Dikna, the Erik Anpin, which is the Mazel number 8, Tikkun number 8, and Mazel, which is number 13, Tikkun 13. That we know that the mochin, that is the energy that's within inside, the godliness, that is the real glory of the body. And I guess he means just in the simple sense of just thinking about a body, is that they're the brain power of the body. Shekolacha b'kol digna nikroim yikira dekira. So he said v'lechein habez mazlos, these two mazlos from which everything flows. They're going to call hadikna nikroim yikira the yakiru. It's the glory of glories. Now here's another one. It's slightly different. He said the yakiruso he means that these are really glorious, fantastic, great lights. Understand that Kabbalah, when we talk about great lights, we're not talking about blinding yourself from the sun. What we're really talking about is that there's very little physical substance to it. That's its greatness, which has the ability to nullify everything before it, of course. So he says, Haina Oris Gadolna v'Yakarim. Ray Beferish Talmud explains like this: Kambazel Lashon the Diihi Yakirusa the Kula Bepirish Oro Godol Maod. Its light is tremendously great. Great again, once of it is very transparent, very thin, almost nothing. And you're not able to reach it at all. In other words, there is no amount of imagination. Your imagination could go so far, but to get beyond that place is your imagination cannot conceive. Because I think conceiving in general is a malchusdik is a lower level. So that's why I think that obviously Rabbi Memran, he's talking about blotting out the mental things that are going in your head and just receiving. It's difficult to do, so you have to work on it. Look over there, should be your conversation. This is what he said. The diknehi yakirusa the kula the bek is the most precious, the most glorious thing of all. Kololos called the spheres, and it has within it all the rest of the spheros. Now we're going to pick up this little number membet in a minute. So he says, spheres bezakos, with its cleanliness. In other words, so unbelievably pure light. There's so little physicality to it. Or Godel, that's a great light. Adkan, V'regam B'bir Agroa, the Groa is going to talk about it, the El Perikal, apparently he talked about it, V'huva Ba'aros, we already saw this too, I think, previously. So let's go down and let's look at number, there you go, number Membet. So Reba Idra Zuta, look over at the Idra Zuta, V'zel Deshona. V'dik Nedua, when we're talking about this beard, Tlas Reshim the Ravaminim is Pashtan. There are three heads that spread there, from the head. So I read it wrong. Rei Be'idra Zuta, this it says like this: Bedikna in the beard. Do, this beard. Tlas Reshim the Amina Mispashtan. So these three heads, the Amina, I guess is Lashon Amuna, something beyond our ability to be able to comprehend. Mispashtim spread into that beard. And where do they come together? They come together in this in the maslos. The maslos are aspects of the beard, particularly the 13th and the 8th tikkun. And that's where they make a place there. Begin kach kol yikira the yikiruso. So for this reason, so this is where all flows come from. The yikiruso behind maslo all depends on the maslos. That is the tikkunim number 13, number 8. Now let's go on to the next place. These are different ideas. They're a little bit scattered. Let's see. We got to change the. There we go. He said, in another place we see another beer. Be'inyan Yekiruso, Shuhu Inyan Lavush. It's a whole different idea. And the topic is Yekiruso Inyan Lavush. So it's like clothing. So he said, Ki Yekiruso hu Lashon Kavod Canal. The Lavush hu Kavod el Lavush. So the Lavush is a Kavod to the Lovesh. I read it wrong, to the Lovesh. The lavush, the clothing, is covered to that which is clothed. So let's talk about what we're talking about. It clothes itself within the lower worlds. The Yaakov, the Sifra over there, Al Idra Rabbah. Shabir the digna de Erik Anpin, mislavish bedikna de Zeranpin, it clothes itself in the beard of Zeranpin. This is the language he uses of Ishtakach. We find that Diknech the Malka Atika Yakira Bakula. So we see that everywhere you look, the Dikna, the beard, the Malka Atika of the holy of the king, the ancient king, Yakira Makula is more glorious than anything else. But it means to say that it's mislavish pirish nimsa the fizesha shamarnu shashefa eloha yud gimit the kunda dignas, the shefa that's coming from them. The Erik Anpin, Nishbara Biyud Gimel Tikkun Dikta, the Zer Anpin, they flow into the Tikkun Diktum of Zer Anpin. But Nimsa the Fizera Shadzer Hadikta, the Erik Anpin, whom is Lavesh as Bay Hadikta, the Zer Anpin, so it's inside of everything. Shakavod Adam Lavusha, because we say that the glory of a man is his clothing. So he wants to say whether the man here is really, and I would translate like this: the manifestation of the man, which is the light that is coming through the beard, it becomes the Shekavod Adam Levusho is what is manifest through what his clothing is. In other words, it's a light that is so transparent that it would be impossible to accept that light or do anything with it unless it's in a levush, and then the levush shows the light. Of course, it's filtered through the levush. This is what it says over here, that it's the most glorious of all. Pirish Shumis Laveshas Bikal the Bechinos in this case, because it's clothed inside of it. So what we're talking about is ultimate panemios, and this is what we're looking to do. Because inside of the war, let's say whether we're fighting right now, the Jewish people are involved in a war, and the brave soldiers of the nation of Israel are fighting a terrible war. But all of this comes from the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, called from Hashem. It's nothing that comes without it. The Shem, he says that we see in other places in Kabbalah, that the direct reference to what happens in this world is related to Zer Anpin, which is a balance scale. And we're talking about Erik Anpin, there's no balance scale there. It's just pure whiteness, pure kindness, pure goodness, pure giving. And I don't mean whiteness in a racial sense. It means unblemished. But when we come down to Zer Anpin, then we have to try to tilt the balance our way. And by being mislavish, by clothing the light of the whiteness of Erik Anpin inside of the balance scale, which has red, white, and green. It is white stands for the side of chesed, and red stands for the side of strict din, punishment, as we have seen. And the middle line balances them, tries to pull the left into the right, to try to make a little pinky thing. That's the way that we're trying to bring the light from the Ein Sof Baruch Hu through his beard, Kavod, through the beard of Erik Anpin, down into us. Let's read a little bit more. He says, I'm not sure exactly where we're at, but we'll start here. V'ofen acher, in another way, k'tzas, bir b'sefer omer man. He says, "B'mayim b'cha'idra zuta, b'cha'bedikna da'atika kadisha tika kadisha is Eric Anpen. Talia kol yakira dekula, all the glory of everything, and he means the glory which would be goodness, pure goodness. Talia depends on that. Busha Eric Anpen is lavish b'partzufim tachtonim is because Eric Anpen clothes himself in lower partzufim. So Bizel the Shana Midas Yakira Ritzon Lova Kavod. So when we talk about Yakira, we mean to say Kavod, glory. The Kavod who Halavush, the Kavod is the clothing. Now how does that mean? The Rebbe Yochanan Ka'arech Lemani, he called clothing, the Begoda, Magvodita. He called it Magvodita. I think we're going to see this in the Tivuk Avanos. Maybe I saw it somewhere, we'll see it again. But Halavush who Abba Ve'ima, the clothing, the beard is covered by Abba Ve'ima, and then covered again by Zer v'nukva and V'zach v'nuk. Shehi malvishin the kol gufa the Eric Anpin, because these two, Eric Anpin, Abba Ve'ima, covers over the body of Eric Anpin, from the chest basically down to the belly button, and for the belly button downwards is another covering, the covering of Zer Anpin. So don't ask this question. Abba Ve'ima, they start from the Goren, Shehem Taluyim Bedikna, which are really dependent on the beard. It's underneath the beard. Zer Anpin, Shemaskil Mechachaza, the Eric Anpin, which begins at the chest of Eric Anpin, who Talui Bedikna, that's really dependent on the beard, Kevin Begia Adsham, because the beard reaches all the way down to that Adkan. So let's just to understand this a little bit better. So he says, Va'ayin Sham Od, so look over there more. And that says, let's try to understand it a little bit better. Look along, Sham. Al Maimbach Be'idra Zuta, where it says, Yakira de Yakirusa behind Mazla Talyu. Now, what does that mean? They just translate it. It says, the glory of glories behind Mazla Talyu. Whatever is manifest, the glorious manifestation of all the goodness in more physical worlds, like ours, say, for example, all depends on this mazel, which is in the beard. Yakiruso hu halvoshas abba ve'ima. So the yakiruso, he says, take the words. The words are yakira de yakirusa. The yakira de yakirusa, he said yakirusa is the voshas abba ve'ima, refers that in its glory, it's the first step, is the clothing of Abba Ve'ima around Eric Anpin from the neck downwards. So Yakira the Yakirusa, but you have the double language, who hold Vasha Zer Anpin, La Abba Ve'ima, that's the clothing of Zer Anpin into Abba Ve'ima, and the Lavush Shal Lavush, that is the Lavush on top of the Lavush. Became Shazer Anpin Magia Adachaza de Eric Anpin, since it reaches all the way up to the chest of Eric Anpin. Shasham is Taim High Mazla, which is the place where the mazel stops. In other words, it's right next to the place of the mazel. Nimzakol Tzilas Toloi behind mazel, so it comes out that everything really gets its nurture from that mazel, because the top of the head of Zer Anpin is going to be right by that mazel. Zohar v'nuk, just male, female, adkan. We see this in the Grua, and that's the shear that I messed up earlier. This is Baruch Fleischman.